Mushroom Oasis. I've played this before, but it's been a while since I played it. Anyways, time to get serious. What's your name? Oh, whoops. I hit the cat blocks. Key. My name is Key. What's my cat's name? His name is Cheat. And your cat is? My cat is a cat. It's a male cat. Jade has been missing for a while now. He probably don't want to be found. Sometimes it be like that. He was an indoor cat, now he's an outdoor cat, but had the tenacity of a wild cat on a mission, trying to leave whenever the door was open. Maybe I wasn't a good cat owner. Or maybe I was the best cat owner and he just wanted to be free. I don't know. Catios and playtime just wasn't enough for the little mister. I figured he'd come running if I left out some food by the porch, but he didn't. 3 days later, still no cat. And that's okay. Time to get a new cat. I tried everything I could think of. Asking around the neighborhood, putting up missing cat posters. Sadly, nothing came from my efforts. I couldn't search for him during the day since I had work keeping me occupied. And there's only so many hours in the evening. I get tired. I could yell around the streets looking for him. So many hours in the evening, and I work, so I get tired. I can't spend all my time looking for that cat. The evening, that's me time. There was only one place left I could think of that he might have ran off to. The woods by my house, right across the street. I've definitely caught him eyeing the birds and squirrels that ran alongside the perimeters from the front window, his teeth clicking in excitement, as if I don't feed him. I was no outdoorsy person by any means. In fact, the thought of going in there scares me. But I had to find him. Or at least try, If I don't find him, I can say at least I tried, I gave him my best shot, The first weekend that came around, I packed up some water, Chate's favorite treats, and a compass to be safe. I wasn't sure where to even begin looking for him. So I started walking in a straight line, calling out his name every few steps. It certainly didn't take long for me to realize I was in way over my head. Why did I think this was a good idea? It was hard to find my bearings within the surrounding trees. This game has such beautiful art. I didn't want to admit I was lost, at least not yet, but I'm lost. I could only squint down at my compass as the needle spun slowly. Pretty sure they weren't made to do that. Did I really bring a busted compass on my first venture out in these woods? Figured that would just be my luck. The only thing risking my own safety was my own incompetence. I shook my head hastily. Oh, goodness gracious. No time for negativity. I'm Miss Positivity. That's what they call me, Miss Positivity. Nobody calls me that, but they should. Chate was out there somewhere, cold and lost and hungry. What about me? I'm lost. I'm cold. I'm hungry. But I'm looking for my cat. I had to keep going. It's been hours. I'm so lost. It's one thing to be so lost, but I was so lost. That's double the so I'm screwed. I don't even know why I kept searching even after the moment I'd realized that. Why did I think this was a good idea? Hunger had been gnawing at my stomach for a while now, having missed breakfast and lunch altogether. The heat and humidity from the moment I find that cat, I may have to eat it. The heat and humidity from the afternoon sun was unbearable, but the cooling air did nothing to soothe me. Even if I were to head home, I couldn't even pinpoint where that was because I'm lost. What do people even do in this situation? Try to be found. I knew it was baseless optimism, but walking onwards was really the only thing I could think of to do. Surely I'll come across something familiar. I trudged on, my shoes carefully avoiding the tree roots entwined across the forest floor. But in my weakened state, I'm hungry and I'm lost and I'm cold. In my weakened state, plus the approaching darkness, I found myself stumbling through the rough terrain. My feet hit something soft, jutting out of the ground. Ack! My hand shot out as I lost my balance. My feet clumsily tried to find perches as I wobbled backwards, arms flapping. I flapped like a bird flapping its wings. That was me. Poof! What? My shoe had landed smack dab in a circle of mushrooms, the brunt of it causing a wispy crowd to erupt from the cluster. I stuck my nose in my elbow to avoid breathing it in, because it looked kind of poisonous. I couldn't differentiate one tree leaf from another for the life of me, but I'm pretty sure humans aren't supposed to inhale whatever the heck that was. And I am a human. It smelled strongly of rotten wood and wet dirt even as it cleared. Oh, I guess that means I inhaled it. Something shiny caught my attention. Maybe a quarter? I stopped down to pick it up, gasping under my breath. It was Chate's collar. Oh, that's such a cute collar. That cat was loved. Look at that collar. Covered in whatever the heck those mushrooms released. I looked around desperately for any sign of him. Chate! Chate! Psst, 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 psst. I called from inhaling some of the remaining dust floating in the air. I should really steer clear from this. Pocketing Chate's collar, I retreated carefully until I could breathe again. Breathe again, breathe again. Stepping back, I could still smell it. It must have stuck to my hair and clothes. A quick once-over confirmed my suspicions with a slight cringe. A thin yet generous coating of it covered my sleeves and jeans. I leaned against the tree, dusting off my clothes in a naive attempt to get the dust and smell out, but to no avail. If anything, it felt like I'm breathing more of it in. What used to be musty now turned sweat. I said that wrong. What used to be musty now turned sweet, and I found myself inhaling even deeper, trying to pinpoint the smell. Cucumbers? It smelled like fresh cucumbers. Maybe I'm saying that because I'm hungry, so I'm just like, it smelled like fresh cucumbers. And chicken, it smelled like fried chicken and fresh cucumbers. And what else did it smell like? It smelled like cinnamon buns. Like, I'm just hungry. A tangly feeling crept up my hands and neck, pinpricks spreading across my limbs as a strange heat reached my face. I started to feel drunk and woozy. My senses were numb. It should freak me out. And yet, a strange comfort washed over me. I should lie down in the middle of the woods. That's a good idea. I should lie down right now, in fact. My legs gave out from underneath me, my body toppling over at an awkward angle. Yes, this is a great place to sleep, just in the middle of the woods. I laid there and stared and stared and stared and stared some more. I just couldn't stop staring. It was nice here. A peaceful calm before the storm. Dun, dun, dun. The perfect place for a nap even. My eyes grew heavy as I swam in and out of consciousness. Yeah, a nap sounds really good right about now. Oh, lots of critters passing through lately. Sorry this happened to you, little one. It could have been anyone, but it had to be you. Your luck sucks. Wait, a human? How'd you end up all the way out here? Still breathing, too. That's unfortunate. Ah, geez, I can't leave you here. What should I do? I woke up with a jolt. It was warm, but comfortably so. Let me save. I'm gonna save down here. Let me return. I could feel the weight of a blanket on me as I tried to sit up. I couldn't. That must have been one heavy blanket. I couldn't move my body. My fingers twitched uselessly at my sides as my eyes darted around in panic. Glancing about, I could see the interior of a cabin, or at least the ceiling of one. I couldn't see much past the corner of my eyes. Where was I? How did I get here? A desperate feeling rose in my chest. I had to leave. Right now. This was wrong, wrong, wrong. I wasn't meant to be here. I could hear the crackling of a fire nearby, likely the source of warmth I had felt on waking up. I could also hear footsteps approaching. Are they going to toss me in a fire? Pretend to be asleep? No. Because if he wants to talk, if they're going to toss me in the fire, then I should stay awake, right? I fluttered my eyelids. Well, actually, even if I'm awake, if I can't move, it doesn't matter if I'm asleep or woke. I fluttered my eyelids, straining to look at the beautiful person approaching. My eyes widened as I took in their freakish appearance, the protrusions from their forehead catching my attention. He's like both ugly but beautiful. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Not to mention the green skin. The stranger didn't sense my unease as they heaved a sigh of relief. You're awake. You're awake. That's good. Very, very good. How are you feeling? I blinked. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Here. The person held a cup to my lips, a strong, sweet smell coming from the rim. A gentle hand grabbed my chin to open my mouth. I couldn't even move to resist. And honestly, why would I? I don't think he's trying to kill me. If he wanted to kill me, he could have already done that by now. Don't worry, it'll help you feel better, I promise, and I believe that. Drink up. As the liquid hit my tongue, all I could feel was a vague sense of heat. As I kept drinking, taste and texture returned, the sweetness of berries and chamomile coating my taste buds. I could even detect a hint of mint. That was delicious. I lifted my head, finally hands fisting at my sides as I propped myself onto my elbows, ready to run out the door. Or not. The person kept a steady hand on my chin, careful not to pour into much in case I choked. I finished every last drop, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. I stared at my fingers, realizing that I needed to wash my hands because that was gross. I had full autonomy over my body again. Good as new. How are you feeling? But better, thank you. You could have killed me, but you didn't. And I appreciate that. The stranger laughed. His hat's so cute. I love it. I love his outfit. He's freaking adorable. Oh, I like the way you sound. I like the way you look. Been ages since I've talked to anyone, much less with a voice as nice as yours. I brushed off their strange compliment, finally looking around the cabin properly. It was a simple room filled with sparse but decorated wooden furniture, fit for someone living alone. An open archway to the right led to what I assumed was the kitchen. Next to it, a door was closed shut. Perhaps the exit? Oh, the bathroom? Possibly the bathroom? Taking it in, there was a common theme of knitted decorations strewn about. Oh, does he knit? Any available surface had patterned knitted tablecloths covering it. Ooh, he probably knitted his sweater. An unfinished project laid beside the bedside table where I sat. A pair of knitting needles jutting out of a pile of yarn from a small basket. Perhaps a weapon, should things go in an unfavorable direction. As far as I could tell, it looked like the beginning of a green scarf. The stranger was comfortable in staying silent, observing me as I glanced around. They tossed their hat onto the bed, scruffing their hair and making it even messier. With their hat off, their unique features were impossible to ignore. Sorry, but who? What are you? Oh, I didn't introduce myself, did I? Hiya, I'm Michael, with a Y. It's very important that you know that it's with a Y. Even though it sounds the same whether it's with an I or a Y. I shook my head. No, I meant that, Michael stared at me, their left ear twitching. You look very green. He snorted. Ugly? Off-putting? No. Well, yeah. But not really, sort of. Just different. You look different. You don't look human. You look very different. You're green. Different, huh? You're just being nice. I am. I am being nice. That's what I do. I'm a nice person. Well, then explain yourself. I mean, that's kind of rude, isn't it? How is it rude? I paused for a moment before pinching my nose bridge, exhaling so slowly. I'm just sorry. It's been a long day is all. I should be thanking you, but you're green. You have green skin, and I find that to be unusual. If it helps, it's a skin condition. No, it's not. Now you lying. Is that what you humans call them? The way they said it didn't sound confident. And the ears? That an ear condition? Genetics? Right. And I assume I waved vaguely at their horns and antenna. Those things are just cosplayed to complete the look. Would that make a convincing argument? I squinted. Maybe. If I was stupid. Then yeah, it's cosplay. Still doesn't explain everything. Michael huffed a nervous laugh. Listen, I'm just a guy living by himself in the woods. You don't need to worry yourself further than that, okay? Something in his tone compelled you not to question his existence anymore. Like, why was I asking all these questions? It's none of my business. He's just some guy living in the woods. It's whatever. Completely normal. Right. Completely normal. I'm Key. Michael beamed. Nice to meet you, Key. He fiddled with the blankets. I fiddled with the blankets as Michael scooted closer from the edge of the bed. I know I already asked, but how are you feeling? Any aches, sores, nausea? Why? Are you a doctor? If I'm feeling any of that, can you help? Can you fix it? Can you make the boo-boos go away? Can you kiss the boo-boos? Intrusive thoughts? Weird impulses? Fever, maybe? I don't think he placed his hand on my forehead before I could react. His hands were calloused, quickly retracting as he gave a thoughtful hum. You seem to be lucid. That's a good sign. Great? He hummed absently. His twitching ear reminded me of a perturbed cat. Cat. My cat! I'm looking for my cat! Cat? My cat! Oh, shoot. Sorry this is out of nowhere, but have you seen a cat around these parts? His name's Chate. He's a sweet little thing about this big, skittish, but he can approach strangers if he needs to. Last I saw him, he was very much alive. I pulled out my phone and showed pictures of him, only to find it missing from my back pocket. Wait, where is... Your cat. I haven't seen it. I thought he was going to say I haven't stolen your phone. I really thought he was going to say that. Oh, I see. So you didn't see my cat, but did you see my phone? I slumped against the pillows, rubbing at my temples. He lost his collar too, and his mind, because why would he leave me? Loving family. Stupid cat. Even if anyone finds him, they wouldn't be able to tell where he's from. Dang it. And I ain't have him chipped either. Never gonna see that cat again. Michael stayed quiet, watching me from the side of the bed. You came all the way out here for a cat? Huh? Of course. To the point where you're willing to run yourself ragged this deep in the forest for a cat? That cat's my family, man. Do you realize how far you've wandered away from the nearest town? I found you near unconscious in an area nobody set foot in for years. All for a cat? Get another cat, man. For a cat? He sounded like he was holding himself back from giving me a stern lecture, as if in disbelief I had such little regard to my own survival. I don't have any pets, but there are people that do have pets, and they love their pets as if their pets are their children. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think Michael understands that. He doesn't understand it at all. My cheeks grew heated at how stupid, reckless that sounds. I mean, he's not just a cat. He's my family. Bet you don't know anything about that. You got family, Michael? I know it was stupid for even trying, but I had to. Was you gonna find my cat if I didn't look for my cat? Like, who else was gonna do it? Michael eased up, shoulders tense, as he looked me over from underneath his unruly bangs. Family, huh? He finally tipped his head at me with a smile. You're willing to wander this far for such a small critter? I've met my fair share of lost campers, hunters, and a few runaway teens or two. And what did you do to them? But someone looking for their pet? You're kind of weird, aren't you? How is it weird to look for your pet if your pet is missing? Like, that's not weird at all. I sputtered, much to his amusement. Speak for yourself. Who cosplays in the middle of the woods? Michael laughed. A deep, hearty one resonating from his chest. Fair. I think I'm starting to like you, Key. Did you dislike me before? Likewise, I guess, maybe. His smile widened, but something about it was off. He was showing too much teeth. It felt like he hadn't talked to someone in a real long time and forgot how to smile the right amount. I rubbed my neck trying to think of something else to say. Trying to think of a way to tell him to not smile that much. Like, that's too big of a smile. Can I ask, how did I get here? Oh, like I said, I found you in the woods not far from here. Oh, geez, really? I knew I was tired, but I couldn't have possibly. I did step in something important. Familiar pinpricks crept up my skin. Home. I need to go home. Michael stiffened as he grabbed my shoulder. Never mind that. You've fallen unconscious from a heat stroke. Heat stroke? No. That wasn't what happened. That's not what happened. I wasn't. I was fine up until I wasn't. Michael shook his head insistently, leaning close. No, Firefly, you weren't fine at all. Okay, so you just automatically gave me a nickname. Like, we literally just met and you've already given me a nickname. That nickname don't even sound like my name, so like I don't even know where that nickname comes from. If I hadn't found you when I did, well, who knows what could have happened? You could have gotten injured or attacked by a wild animal. There's danger in these woods, you know. Are you the danger? I bet you're the danger. No, he was right. You had been so foolish. I was so stupid. How did you think you could do this on your own? You can't do nothing. Searching for your cat in the middle of the woods? And to go in without bringing any water? Passing out from heat stroke of all things? Pathetic. How could you have been so stupid? You should be ashamed of yourself. I shook my stupid head, brain too foggy to pick apart my thoughts. My stupid thoughts. He sounded so confident. So why should you doubt him? Well, if it means anything, I'm glad you were there. Michael relaxed, hand on his lap once more. He grinned at me. So am I, Key. I'm definitely glad I found you. Oh, you went back to calling me by my name. Because you just called me Firefly, but whatever. His eyes were hidden fully behind his unruly hair. I couldn't help feeling how intensely they were fixated onto me as he said that. The hairs on the back of my neck stood. Sure. Without a distraction, I've only just realized how uncomfortable I was sitting still. The blanket on me was starting to itch, just as the desperate need to get home began to rise in me again. This was interesting, but I should really get going now. Gonna mosey on up out of here, start on the old dusty trail. Wait! My host jumped up from the bed before I could. I mean, you can't. I can't just let you wander in the woods this late. Please, stay a bit longer. But Michael, I really have to come. He grabbed my hand and led me across the room. We stepped into the kitchen, a fragrant smell of cooked potatoes and meat hanging in the air. What kind of meat? Why doesn't it specify the meat that I'm smelling? 2 plates had been set out on a small circular table, complete with utensils and a mug of tea. I wasn't expecting guests today, so the food is nothing fancy. But join me for dinner? He looked so hopeful, ears drooping. You'd feel so bad if you had to say no. Say yes. Michael's jaw dropped for a second before he quickly recovered. And I am hungry, so I'll join him for dinner. Yes, of course. Here, come sit. I'll serve up the cottage pie in a minute. I'm hungry, but I don't want no cottage pie. I sat as instructed, my stomach rumbling something fierce as the smell was the only thing I could focus on. Yes, this was definitely the right choice, because I've made so many right choices since I started playing this game. What was so important that you had to leave so soon? The outside world can wait. You could stay here and enjoy my company. Oh, actually, I should ask, are you okay with meat for dinner? I can make something else for you if that's not your preference. I'm okay with meat, but I really wish you'd specify like what the meat was, you know? Is it, we talking beef, we talking chicken? Because I do eat both chicken, I eat pork, I eat beef, but like you're not specifying what the meat is. So like, what if the meat is human? I don't eat human, you know what I'm saying? So like, I do have a preference. I like meat, but like, tell me what the meat is. I'm okay with meat depending on the meat, you know? Oh, okay, you'll be having the same dinner as me then. It better not be human. Michael pattered about the small kitchen with an almost giddy excitement. He put on a pair of knitted oven mitts. I bet he knitted those mitts. He put on a pair of knitted oven mitts, humming as he stooped down and pulled out a steaming tray of pie from the wood stove. The smell? It filled out the kitchen in an instant as he brought it to my table. To the table. It's not my table. I don't own a table. My stomach rumbling louder in response. I'm pretty sure Michael could hear it, but he just smiled as he served up our portions. He discreetly cut me a bigger piece, which I was grateful for. He's a really good host. All right, that looks delicious. It looked so good. Almost as good as he did. The crust was a nice golden color, streaked with crisp lines and garnish. The meat and veggie filling looked absolutely delectable. The savory sauce leaking onto the plate. What type of meat is that, though? Why won't they say what type of meat it is? My mouth was watering, unsurprising considering the fact I haven't eaten all day. All I had was that stuff he gave me to drink, which was delicious apparently. Careful now, it's still hot, just like me. Wink, wink. It was fair advice, but I didn't wait more than 2 blows before biting into my fist. My first forkful. Ah! It was definitely way too hot to eat straight out from the oven, but I was hungry. Michael kept a polite expression, the corner of his mouth lifting as I panted with the piece still hot in my mouth. He gave me a few seconds to recover, elbow planted on the table. Is it good? I nodded vigorously, even though my taste buds were burning. Right here. Whatever. I couldn't taste anything. He laughed. It's usually better on the second bite. I slowed down, hand on my mouth, as Michael poked his fork into his own slice. I tentatively blew in a pie to make sure it was cool before taking another bite. He was right. The second bite was a lot better, and this time it didn't burn me when I ate it. I learned my lesson. The seasoned potato crust was nice and crisp on top, cheesy and creamy in the middle. The savory meat filling was well cooked and bursting with flavor. Every bite felt like home. It's the best pie I ever had in my life. My host watched me enjoy the meal from across the table. Do you like it? You know darn well I like it. Yeah, this tastes amazing. He flushed from the compliment, rubbing the back of his neck. I'm glad. I like to think of myself as a decent cook, but I've never been able to get anyone else's opinion on that. Do you like baking in particular? Not always. I usually go for simple dishes with any ingredients available. I nodded amicably, though didn't say much else. I was more focused on scarfing down dinner, this delicious dinner, which thankfully Michael didn't seem to mind. The overall atmosphere was nice and homely, and I could hear Michael tapping his feet from underneath the table. I guess he was that happy to have someone stay for dinner. It did seem like he lived alone, judging from the surroundings in his cabin. So I'm kind of curious. He perked up instantly, his focus solely on me. What made you want to live all the way out here? Oh, well, when you look at me, it's kind of easier to just live out of sight from everyone else, you know, me being a hideous freak and all. A pang of guilt shot through my chest. I was giving him a hard time for how he looked, too. He must have sensed it clear as day on my face. Not that you're one of them. You've actually been nicer than most. Though, I wonder if... His smile turned strained. Never mind. My point is, it's better here than anywhere else. Why don't you try the tea, Firefly? Okay, he went back to calling me Firefly for some reason. Didn't know we was close like that. He seemed uncomfortable now, easing into a different topic. It's probably best to follow along. Oh, sure. I reached out towards my mug, only to push it off edge with my clumsy fingers. Butterfingers. I'm so clumsy. Wait. I bent over the side to grab it, fully expecting it to fall just out of reach and land on the floor into broken pieces. It never did. Instead, a long green appendage, we call that a tail, was twisted around a ceramic mug, securely keeping it in place. Not even a drop had fallen out. Okay, his tail didn't go in the drink, so I think it's okay to still drink it. My eyes trailed along the length of it until I pinpointed that it came from behind Michael, the rest of it partially hidden beneath his cardigan. Michael, is that yours? 'Cause it ain't mine. Michael buried his face in his hands. The strange appendage. It's a tail. Stop calling it a strange appendage. Goodness gracious. From before lowering to his side, mug and toe. Like this character has a cat. She's seen a tail before. Granted, his tail looks different than a cat's tail or most tails, but still, it's clearly a tail. I'm sorry, Key. I think it's time I was honest. He lifted his head, fingers carding his hair back to reveal his eyes. I froze as multiple pairs of irises stared right into mine before darting to the side and avoiding my gaze. I appreciate that he's being honest with me, but I'm surprised that he didn't keep lying. Only because it's one thing to have a tail, but it's another to have multiple eyes. At least in my opinion. I know it's a lot to take in. It's a lot just like my multiple eyes. I have a lot of them. This is who I really am. This is me. Please don't be scared. I'ma save the game real quick. I'ma save right here. I'm gonna return now. I'ma remain calm. I swallowed audibly, willing myself to not look away. He seemed to be holding his breath as I gripped the edge of the table. It felt unsettling every time he blinked those eyes in succession, even when he wasn't looking at me. Was it real? It had to be. Am I calling him an it now? Because that's just kind of rude. Now, I get that he looks incredibly different, but I don't think we should be calling him an it. I don't like that at all. Everything about him suddenly made so much more sense. The isolation, the avoidant behavior. He looked freaky, yes, freaky deaky. But he also looked sad. Freaky deaky and sad. I swallowed thickly. I'm not scared. Me? I ain't scared. Michael's mini pupils blew wide, dilating like an excited wildcat. It sent a shiver up my spine. Oh, okay, maybe just a little bit scared, just a tiny bit. Sorry. He hastily grabbed an empty plate and hid behind it, shoulders scrunched up despite his stature. I don't like that he's trying to hide his face, because this is his house. He shouldn't have to hide himself in his house. He should be comfortable in his own home. If anything, he should kick me out. Would it help if I just hide it? You shouldn't have to hide it. This is your house. If I got a problem with it, like, honestly, just kick me out. Like, I can go. I could fix my hair like before if that's what you prefer. Honestly, I do like how his hair looks over his eyes, but, you know, whatever makes him comfortable, honestly. But his hair over his eyes does look really cool. I do like that look. His voice was muffled behind a ceramic barrier between us. It was kind of endearing. I slowly reached out to touch his hand, the slight brush of my fingertips making him jump in place. Michael? Yeah? Can you put that down? He slowly lowered the plate. Is he gonna hand me the cup of tea? Because he's still holding it with his tail and, like, I'm thirsty. Like, if he could just hand me that tea, that would be great. He slowly lowered the plate. His eyes were still darted to the side, avoiding me. Can you hand me that tea? Can you look at me? Don't look at me like that. Sorry, I just can't stop looking. It's like a train wreck. Not that you look like a train wreck or anything. I'm just saying is all. This was so awkward. His hands were shaking. I looked down at the mug still floating next to him, hanging on for dear life. I reached over and plucked it straight out of his grasp. I tentatively took a sip, noticing how Michael was watching me over the rim of the mug. The taste was mildly spicy, with an almost earthy bite to it. I recognized it instantly as ginger tea. It's almost room temperature, but it's still pretty good. It's room temperature because he held onto it for so long with his tail. And then we had to go through this whole, oh no, I'm a freak, don't look at me. We had to go through that whole bull crap. So now I gotta drink room temperature tea. Huh? You wanted me to try the tea, right? Well, I'm trying it, even though it's room temperature. I like it. Probably would have tasted better if it was hot, but thanks anyway, I guess. Oh, I'm glad. Michael relaxed back into his seat, following my lead as I picked up my fork once more. The silence didn't last long as Michael fidgeted. Are you really okay with this? With me? I gave him a once over, really taking in his features, his many features. Goodness gracious. There's a lot happening on tail, eyes, look at those ears, green skin, friggin', what are those, antennas? It's very different than what I'm used to, but I think I can learn to like it. Is that weird to say? I mean, you're not bad to look at. It's actually kind of, darn it, what do I say? Hot. Hot like the tea was supposed to be, but it was room temperature because you was holding it for so long. You're not referring to the temperature, are you? No, I am not. Oh. He looked confused, but seemed embarrassed anyway. My point is, your appearance shouldn't matter. You've been nothing but kind to me so far. What matters is what's on the inside, you know? Your personality. I'd be the worst kind of person to judge someone based on how they look. I haven't known you for that long, but you seem like a good person. You're fine, Michael. And you look fine. I smiled at him. We're fine. We are two fine-looking people. I see. He fidgeted some more before nodding, smiling a bit. Thanks, Key. I'll cherish this moment forever. He beamed at me as he enthusiastically went back to eating his food. That was something. We continued with a bit of small talk, mostly stories about catered snippets from my personal life. Michael hung on to every word I said, not bothering to elaborate much about himself, despite my burning curiosity. I could tell he was extremely insecure about his appearance, so it's probably best I keep my questions to myself for tonight. We cleared up the kitchen in relative silence, Michael storing away the rest of the pie as I washed the dishes by the sink. Before I leave, I should ask him if I can take the rest of that pie home. A doggy bag, if you will. He ain't going to eat those leftovers, but I will. Being out here in his remote cabin, I wonder how he had running water. Maybe I'll ask him later. So, thanks for dinner. It was delicious. Thanks for the company. Oh, and please take the bed tonight. But, you're my guest and I'm the host. Take the bed, okay? All right. I'll be out of here first thing in the morning. Michael got quiet, staring at the floorboards. With his hair out of the way, I could finally read his expressions. He did seem upset. Is that okay? Is it okay for me to leave this house? Like, are you cool with that? Is this a kidnapping? Or is it not? Am I your captive or am I free to leave? I do need your help though. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to get lost again on my own. But I do need to leave. His tail flicked behind him. Yeah, I'll bring you home tomorrow morning. I heaved a sigh of relief. Thanks, Michael. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah. Good night, Key. Good night, Michael. He seemed really happy being able to say that. I plopped myself down into Michael's bed, getting comfy beneath the blanket. Michael was gathering some blankets of his own to make a makeshift bed on the floor in front of the fire. He had an impressive collection of knitted items, a comfortable nest forming in the center of the room. My eyes trailed after his tail, now out in the open as it flicked and swayed. Who needs a cat? I got Michael now. Kinda like a cat. I miss Chate. Forget about Chate, you got Michael now. Now with a full stomach, dozing off came easy. I didn't even realize how tired I was. I listened to the gentle crackling of the fire, my vision darkening. Oh, okay, you just staring at me. Good night, Key. A soft humming invaded my dreams, steering me awake. I blinked my eyes open to unfamiliar surroundings, swallowed in a blanket that clearly wasn't mine. Hopefully it was clean. Better have been clean. Where? Oh. I spotted the familiar figure of my host, seated on a stool in front of the fire, hands deftly working on the green scarf bundled in his lap. His back was towards me, but I caught glimpses of his fingers as the needles softly clicked between the yarn. He looked incredibly adept at using them, the rhythmic movements almost hypnotic as the fibers wound together into an intricate pattern. I slowly stirred into a sitting position, rubbing at my eyes. The movement quickly caught his attention, ear flicking in my direction before his eyes trained onto me. Just like last night, his pupils blew up as we made eye contact. His expression lit up the instant he saw me. He was so happy to see me. Key, hey, I'm glad you're finally awake. You looked so tired. I didn't want to disturb you until you gotten enough rest. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Key. Did you sleep well? Grr. I was still too groggy to answer a question. I yawned, sleepy eyes I stretched. He smiled kindly, a soft chuckle under his breath. Like a baby, then. You call me a baby? He pointed over his shoulder to the door beside the fireplace, tilting his head towards it. You can freshen up in the bathroom if you'd like, while I start on making us some food. I'd have eaten breakfast by now, but I'd want you to join me while the food is still hot. How do eggs and toast sound? Eggs and toast? I can ask him for something else? Let me save. I don't think this decision matters, but what if it do? Let me save just in case. You got something else? Oh, I could make some fresh salad if that's what you prefer. Oh, I definitely don't want no salad. Salad for breakfast? I don't even like salad for dinner. I don't like salad ever. I'm not a fan of salad. I'd love that. What? No, I wouldn't. Reload. I don't want no darn salad. Hold on, where the reload button? I do not want salad. I don't want salad. I really don't. Egg, toast, and I prefer egg and toast to salad. Sounds delicious. Great, I'll see you in the kitchen then. I just wanted to see what the other option was of what he would make for me. But if it's between toast and egg and salad, I'm going with toast and egg. Don't even like salad. He tucked away his knitting materials and set it aside. Unless it's like seafood salad, that's like the exception to the rule. Or if it's like a chicken salad, you put mayo in it, and and I'm getting off topic. Oh, I also have a surprise for you after breakfast. It's not the most exciting surprise, but just join me when you're ready. He ducked into the kitchen without another glance. I could hear his boots thud about the floorboards, cabinets opening and closing in succession in the kitchen. I suppose that's my cue. I rolled out of bed, leaving the warmth of Michael's blankets and trotting over to the door Michael pointed out. Stepping inside, I didn't... Ah! What the heck? I saw a bug. I killed the bug. The bug is dead. Everything is okay. Stepping inside, I didn't know what I was expecting when he said he had a bathroom, but it was surprisingly spacious. Is everything made of wood? Everything looked like it was carved and polished out of wood. I don't want to go to the bathroom on a wooden toilet. I'll just hold it. I am not trying to go to the bathroom on a wooden toilet. I'm going to either hold it or go outside. He seemed to have everything you'd find in a modern bathroom. A sink with a cabinet, a shower, and a tub, and even a toilet. It's made out of wood. I'm going to get a splinter. Curious, I crept over to the toilet in particular, inspecting it. There wasn't a tank like you would expect where the water would be stored. Instead, there was a compartment to the side full of sawdust and a scoop. Ugh. I expected it to have at least a bit of a smell, but it was surprisingly odorless. There was even a roll of toilet paper on the side. It was no flushing system, but it was hygienic. I don't want to be in his house anymore. I need a toilet that flush. Michael must have done his research. Well, he ain't do enough. I want a toilet that flushes. Walking over to the sink, I stared at the faucet before hesitantly twisting it. I jumped when I heard the rush of water pouring in, swirling in the basin before disappearing into who knows where. Wow. Why am I surprised by a darn functioning bathroom sink? I helped with the dishes last night. I already knew Michael had plumbing. Shaking my head, I finished freshening up and headed to the kitchen. Michael looked up as I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand, with 2 empty mugs on the counter. Ever since I found out that he was like, whatever the heck he is, he just got his tail out, just eyes revealed. He ain't hiding nothing. He's just like, hey, this is me. This is me. I got 4 eyes. I got a tail. This is me. Deal with it. He just letting it all hang out. Michael looked up as I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand with 2 empty mugs on the counter. It might have been the lighting, but he was taller than I remembered. Glancing at the table, I could see he already finished plating up our food. Maybe before he was like scared that I was going to discover like that he was a freak or whatever. So he was like hunched over like, no, I'm short. Don't be scared. But now he's like, oh, you cool with me? So now he's just like standing like tall, straight up. Like he ain't hiding nothing. He not hiding his height. Nothing is hidden anymore. Glancing to the table, I could see he already finished plating up our food. Oh, wow. You work fast. Michael looked proud of himself. Can't have my guests stay on an empty stomach. Go on, have a seat. I'll join you in a moment. I returned his smile and sat down, stomach grumbling as I looked at our plates. That looks delicious, man. Once again, Michael, he outdid himself. Michael was generous with the serving sizes. Fat slices of bread were toasted perfectly with crisp buttered sides, bright red tomato slices, and crisp salad peeking underneath the fluffy eggs. It looked amazingly tantalizing, the smell of savory herbs wafting into my nose. My mouth watered. Michael set down a steaming mug beside me before settling into his own seat. Peeking above the rim, I could see small flowers floating about, tinting the water yellow. It faintly smelled of apples. I recognized the yellow dried pellets on tea packaging I've seen before. Oh, chamomile. He nodded. I hope you like it. I hope I do too. I'm sure I will. His smile widened, his tail swaying at the tip by his feet. He seemed more relaxed, showing natural features this morning. Any trace of panic and hesitation from last night were gone, replaced by a look of contentment. He was proud of how he looked. He didn't have to hide anymore. Michael bit into his toast and I followed suit. The food was as delicious as I expected. The chunk of toast I bit into was heavenly, the butter sweet on my tongue. The best toast I ever had in my life. The tomato and salad provided a nice crisp balance. And the eggs. Don't even get me started on the eggs. Something about simple home-cooked food is just the best. Michael was happy to eat in silence, occasionally looking up at me as I enjoyed my food. He smiled when our eyes met, his bottom pair narrowing into a happy squint. I wonder if he'd be open to some questions. Hey. Do you mind if I ask, how'd you learn to cook? Cottage pie is a pretty complicated recipe. I would just wonder if anyone taught you how to cook. I'd be lucky if someone could teach me how to make boiled eggs, Firefly. But it was trial and error mostly. My earlier endeavors were, pretty much inedible. There was a lot of errors in the trial. I picked up a thing or two about cooking though, so your taste buds aren't gonna fall victim to any nasty creations like in my early days at least. Speaking of, did you enjoy dinner last night? Of course I did, and you know that. You're a really good cook, Michael. Don't you ever doubt it. Don't let anybody tell you different. Best food I had in my life. I'm glad. Probably wasn't obvious, but I'm really happy I got to cook for you. Well, I'm happy I got to eat what you cooked. I don't get guests often, in case you couldn't tell. I should ask you to cook for me every day then. He grinned at my joke. That's not a joke. No, cook for me every day. I'll eat it. The heck? Ain't nobody joking. He grinned at my joke looking pleased. That was not a joke. I'd be happy to. I chuckled as I took another bite. So what's your favorite thing to cook? He lit up at the question. Fried mushrooms. Oh, I hate mushrooms. Fried mushrooms? Ugh. Yeah. There's plenty to find and it's easy to make. I don't like fried mushrooms, man. Cause I don't like mushrooms. I don't care what you do to them. I don't like mushrooms. Unless I'm playing Mario, I don't like mushrooms. Huh? I do remember finding a patch of mushrooms yesterday. I think they was poisonous. They smelled pretty funky though. You remember that? Huh? What was that? Say a little louder. Nothing. Anyway, mushrooms were the only thing I had for a while before figuring out I could eat other stuff like roots and veggies. Do you forage all your ingredients? Mostly. The times I figured out how to catch fish and hunt game were the best of my life, I'll tell you that. My first taste of meat. He did an awkward version of a chef's kiss, as if mimicking something he saw on television once. Mamma mia. Oh, he's trying to say Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Was he trying to say Mamma mia? He continued before I could even dwell on it for a second longer. But nothing beats what you humans are able to make. You guys go nuts with ingredients. Rice was a challenge. Rice was a challenge, man? If you don't get yourself a rice cooker. It's a precious ingredient since I have to actually get from a store. But once I figured out how to make it nice and fluffy, I consider it a special treat. Dude, get yourself a rice cooker. I did a double take. You go to the store? Yeah? Where else would I get it? I thought you would grow it yourself or something. You didn't build yourself a toilet. You can't grow yourself some rice? He laughed as I flushed in embarrassment. It's flattering you think I'm even capable of something that impressive, but no, there's only so much the forest can provide. But what about money? We're talking about human currency, right? Otherwise, how would you even... Does the forest provide money? Do you actually have a job? A thought occurred to me. Oh, or did you steal it? Like, if you did, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. You ain't gotta worry about me telling on you. He almost looked offended. Do you take me for a criminal? I don't know what to take you for. No. But that would mean... Then how? Michael bit into his toast, his two eyes winking in mischief. I have my ways, Firefly. What's that supposed to mean? What's it like living in a... No, hold up. How do you have plumbing in your house? Let's address that thing. Let's address that whole thing. I know it's a silly question. No, it's not. But I can't stop thinking about it. Oh? You were wondering about that? The embarrassed look on my face was probably enough of an answer. Aw, well, it's nothing fascinating. It's just rainwater I've got stored above the cabin. Just rainwater? He nodded. I detected a hint of pride as he continued. It's actually a recent installment, believe it or not. I believe it. Granted, the project took a while, gathering materials, figuring out the tools, finding the right instruction manuals. Plus, I had to figure out where to store the water tank. And don't worry, I installed a filtration system, so it's safe for us to use. I check in every few weeks to make sure nothing's contaminated. That sounded daunting. Especially considering he lived all the way out here in the woods. You did all that on your own? I kind of had to. Anyway, it took a while. It took a whole lot of collaborating and adjusting, and I said that word wrong. Anyway, it took a whole lot of calibrating and adjusting, but it really worked out. And now that I think about it, I'm glad to be comfortable here during your stay too. Does that answer your question? Where'd you learn how to do all that? I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. There was a faint hint of exhaustion in his eyes. But to answer your question, I go to libraries a lot. It's where I learned about a majority of things. I like to read. The fact that he even ventured into buildings at all already surprised me. And if I'm real lucky, they have all these neat DIYs and workshop manuals archived for anyone to browse through, even me. It took a while to figure everything out. A really long time, actually. But hey, I had nothing but time. And it paid off. Did it pay you money? Because how did you buy the rice from the store? We not breezing past that. We are not breezing past that. Talking about I got my ways. How did you buy the rice, Michael? I'm considering upgrading the toilet next. But for now, the composting setup works fine. Learned about that in the old camping guide. He paused to take a breath, as if he hadn't talked this much in a while. I'm rambling, but that's how I did it. Is there anything else you want to ask? You've been to libraries? His ears perked up, posture straightening. Oh yeah. I can't tell you enough how much books have helped me. Reading will change your life. I've made it this far only because I quickly figured out how to read. And if you don't know how to read, then you should learn how to read too. Well, figured out that I can read. Do you visit often? In my early days, any chance I could get. Nowadays, I stick to my side of the forest though. Gotta make sure people don't wander too far off than they're meant to. I paused in my chewing at the teasing lilt in his voice. Hey, I'm joking. Anyways, if you're wondering what I do about this, he gestured towards his face. I just have to make sure everything's covered up. You'd be surprised how little people pay attention to me when I bundle up just right. Do people not give you any trouble? He shrugged nonchalantly. I wish they would. Small town libraries are usually so empty from my experience. People just mind their own businesses there, as they should. Huh, I guess that's true. But what if they didn't know? You'd probably take care of that, huh? I can't remember the last time I visited a library or read a book. I guess libraries would be Michael's equivalent to the World Wide Web. I should introduce him to the internet sometime. ... Actually, maybe not. Not without parental controls. Finally satisfied, I nodded and went back to eating my food.